Everyone's been talking about Republican efforts to pick up 3 to 5 seats in Texas, but there is another state where redistricting could help Republicans pick up 3 more seats, and it's a state where the Republican state legislature is legally required to draw new maps before 2026, and that state is Ohio. Let's discuss a little more. I love this analysis because as much as we like to think we live in a democracy, often who we elect to Congress is not selected by us, but selected by the state legislature or the redistricting commission, whoever draws our maps, because they decide which seats are competitive and which ones are not. The upper left map is the one that is going to be thrown away and has to be redrawn. That is the current map for Ohio, and unlike many states, there are actually several competitive districts in Ohio, 3 of which are currently represented by Democrats. The one in the upper left around Toledo, the one south of Cleveland, I believe in the Mahoning Valley is what that area is called, and then finally in the bottom left in the Cincinnati area, which is slightly more Democratic. They also have a Democratic rep. This means there are 3 seats that are highly vulnerable for redistricting and Republican pickups. So you can see here in the bottom right is a very easy, we call it disguised Republican gerrymandering because it's not as extreme in the one on the bottom left, where they can draw somewhat nice-looking districts that remove these 3 Democrats effectively and just leave the Democrat in Columbus and in Cleveland. However, as much as you can draw a map where there's just 2 Democrats, you can see in the ones in the middle, you could draw a map where there are 8 or 9 Democrats representing Ohio. This just shows you that our electoral system does not represent us in a proportional manner. It represents us based on who is drawing the maps, and that's why control of the redistricting process is crucial for determining the outcome in Congress. The problem in this coming cycle is that Texas, Ohio, and to a lesser extent potentially Florida are all controlled by the GOP, and they all have a process by which they could do mid-cycle redistricting to reduce Democratic representation in Congress. All the states that have Democratic pickup opportunity, if Democrats could draw the map, so that would be California and New York as the biggest 2, they both have processes that are going to be very, very, very hard for Democrats to get new maps across the line. I already did a video on the California process, which you can watch, but essentially not only does the state legislature need to get a 2/3 vote through, there then has to be a public referendum, special election prior to 2026, and then also draw all the maps. New York, I'm also going to do a deep dive on because Democrats tried to gerrymander New York more effectively but failed. Outside of those 2 states, there aren't many states where Democrats can squeeze out that many seats. Illinois, which is the other big Democratic state, Democrats have already very effectively gerrymandered, as well as Maryland is another case. And then other big states like Pennsylvania, no one has total control over that process, so Democrats don't have a chance to gerrymander there. So for upcoming 2026 election, there are many more opportunities for Republicans to pick up seats through redrawing maps than with Democrats. So I'll do a little more info on California and New York about those processes because we, as citizens of those states, I, as a citizen of New York State, people in California, even though it's going to be very, very hard, we should push our state leaders to attempt to do a redistricting because it's better to go down fighting than not fight at all.